Okay, Bitcoin's halfway through the Monday session. It's up about 1% right now. It's up just above 115,000 to 115,313 or so. And we are bouncing off the levels I talked about. We're bouncing off the green line and horizontal support. The 50 period moving average is the green line. And again, the previous high is acting as support, as we've seen over and over and over with Bitcoin through the advance. We have Bitcoin just above our 50% retracement at 110,720, but bouncing, just moving slightly below the 38.2 at 113,670. We moved just below that to hit this 112,000 area, and we're bouncing. So again, you still have this bull flag, and we're trying to bounce off key support, as we've talked about, in what potentially is a back test. We had the tightening of the Bollinger Bands, and again, I told you something was going to happen. Oftentimes, you'll see the tightening of the Bollinger Bands move in one direction and then begin to move in the other. This could lead to a bigger sell-off if we take out the resistance zone, now turn support, as we've talked about, and our 50 period moving average, but you still have a bull flag going into this level of support now, and potentially a continuation pattern with the bull flag. It's back testing the large inverse head and shoulders, and our stochastic is turning back up here. If the MACD firms back up with the divergence completing, then it was just a correction back to key support. I talked about these trend lines. Bitcoin overthrew them and is back testing the 112,000 area, but you have this inverse head and shoulders pattern, and we broke out of it, and that's from this first line right here. We broke out of it, we back tested it, we've slightly overthrown it, and now we're hitting this resistance zone that is now support. So that's where we're at with Bitcoin. So you got a pretty good shot. We're going to try to bounce right here if this level can hold at the 50 period. Directly below that, we have the 100 period moving average. So it's possible we have a wave 1, a wave 2 done, and primary wave 2 done. We're now in primary wave 3, and it's possible that we have a 1 and a 2 done, and we're now going to resume the advance. And again, we're in primary wave 3. If we are, in fact, in primary wave 3, I personally believe that we are. We do have negative divergences that are forming in the weekly time frame, but again, they may not be done. We may have them still under construction. Now, this is interesting. Again, we're coming back to this 112,000 area. This is the weekly chart, and we're hitting this level, and we're trying to bounce. Okay. Prior to that, we had the peak over here. We broke out of it. We came back to it, and that's where we bounced. We bounced at horizontal support there during the April low, going back to the 2024 high. Same thing we're doing right here. Prior to that, again over here in January of 2024, we had a high. We pulled back and we sold off. We broke out and we came back and we came right back to that level. So again, over and over, back over here. When we first started the advance, we had this first push higher right here. We broke out of it, and then we consolidated sideways. And we pulled back to it a couple times here, and then here we pulled back to it. But notice that these previous highs acted as support over here in January of 2024, acted as support. That's where the bottom was. The breakout over here, this is where the bottom was in April of 2025. And then now we've broken out above the May 22nd peak, and this now 112,000 areas acting as support. Pretty fascinating. But we do have these negative divergences forming, and they may not be done yet. We started to curl over here, and we still ended up going higher right here. Started to curl over right here. And ended up going higher. So again, these divergences are forming, suggesting a top is coming, but they aren't necessarily done yet. Now, we had a topping signal back over here at the peak, and that was the July high. And the topping tail, we went sideways, and then we broke down. Bars began to turn red. We lost the orange line there. But I told you to be watching the purple line, be watching this support level. And this is where we bounced right here, right on the nose at that 112,000 area. So we're bouncing off the purple line. We're bouncing off horizontal support. We're getting another bottoming signal here. tried to get it on Saturday. It got canceled out. We now have it on Sunday, and so far it's playing out. This is telling us we're either going to get a bounce or a bottom here. So that's what it's telling us. Over here, it marked a bottom. Over here, it marked a top. Other times, it marks counter trends. I program my own indicators. I programmed it to tell me where prices might turn, but it doesn't tell me if it's a bottom or just where we're going to get a bounce. So right now, again, I think we got a good shot of a bull flag that has set up. If it can break out, we can resume the advance. But in order to have the bull flag play out, we've got to see signals turn back to bullish. We've got to see a breakout, and then we've got to be able to clear the previous high. So again, the bull flag's got a shot at playing out here, but we got to see signals turn back to bullish. Right now, signals are still bearish. We're bouncing off the 50-period moving average, so we'll see what happens. You got to flip the bars back to green here. You got to flip the cloud back to green here in order to turn this around. You got to have something like what we had over here happen, where we turned red, but then we turned back to green, and then we can resume the advance if that is the case. Now, I talked about a possible wave 1 and 2. Now, listen, this bull flag, it still may not be done. We still may get one more push down into it if we have the correction not yet completed, or if the bull flag doesn't play out, then again we can get something uglier. But right now you got a shot at a bull flag that's done or about to be done if we end up getting one more push down here. Again, this is a question mark as far as is a bottom here? Do we get one more push down? If the bull flag plays out, we still end up may forming, and we do have a little tiny divergence right here, but we still may end up forming a larger divergence down here somewhere, but you still could have a bull flag even if that happens. So keep that in mind. Again, I'm marking this as primary wave 1, primary wave 2 over here, and now we have maybe these first two waves here done or about to conclude with wave 2, but intermediate wave 1, intermediate wave 2 if we have an extended primary wave 3. So these are the intermediate waves of primary wave 3 after completing primary wave 2 over here. So this is the extended wave 3 scenario, which I think is the most likely count at this point. I do have the possibility of other counts that I'm considering, but I think this is more likely. So I'd be watching to see, do we get another reference point of a divergence here? We're coming up to the 50 level and we're stalling out on the MACD. We're turning up, but we're still negative. Do we end up seeing a divergence develop here, maybe coming back here, undercutting the resistance zone, turn support? We can even undercut it a little bit or go into the lower end of it near 110,000. So again, if we go into that lower end of it or try to undercut it slightly, you could end up forming a divergence here. I'll be watching to see if that happens or not. But right now, bouncing up to the 200 period, the 50 is dropping towards it. I'll be watching to see, do we get a death cross and this bigger sell-off, and the death cross could mark a bottom, possibly with Bitcoin. Sometimes they do. Does a bull flag completely fail and we end up getting a bigger dump if signals remain bearish? So watch the bull flag closely because it's at Q support. We could still go into this lower end of the support zone here, this lower end here, and still form a divergence on the RSI and the MACD. Just a short update. I might post another video tomorrow if things change, so keep an eye out for that. A quick update I wanted to share with you. Bull flag bouncing off the 50-period moving average so far in the daily time frame.